Okay, let's start working on the terminal emulator. So today, um, well, there's basically a ton of things we can just do. I think the first thing I want to do is, because I'm always in the habit of just typing C to clear the terminal, um, I'm going to support those escape sequences next. So press C here, we're gonna get a bunch of spam to this window. And we'll just copy those and handle them. So, um, yeah, let me just do this so that hopefully this stuff will go off the screen and it will stop spamming. Okay, so I can just copy this now. So that's good. So basically we've got J, we've got some sort of escape J, some H. There should be like a K in here somewhere as well, but we'll start with J and H to begin with. So let's go to ptgl.c and we'll go to push line. Actually, we're gonna go to handle escape. So that is not in this file. And then specifically, these are CSI. So we'll go to handle CSI. And here is where we'll go. So let's go, let me bring this over here. It's gonna show what's going on here. So we're gonna go to this escape sequence website, and we're gonna go to functions using CSI, and then J. So J is erase in display. This one is probably not useful, but we'll probably just put an assert to see if we get it or not. I mean, well, never mind. Because we're just pretending to be extern, we are just getting that one. It's not really any different from erase all, in my view. So I'll probably just make it an alias for erase all. So let us begin with that. Let me just, oops, I guess I can put this here. So let us make a function called erase in, what's it called? Display. Make sure I'm still got this open here. Okay, so we'll have, where are we here? Case J, erase in display. And we will pass in the terminal and the CSI. For now, we're gonna assert that we always get argc, but I think technically in this case, argc is not necessarily required, like a number. I think if you just get no number, you're just supposed to use 0, assume 0, but we'll start by just asserting that for now. So, static void erase in display key CSI pointer CSI now maybe I'm not sure if we should just handle that or not. Probably we should. If CSI to argc equals 0. So let's do what do we have? I32 arg. Now this buffer is just going to be, actually this buffer is just initialized to 0. I don't know if I want to so when we go to parse CSI here, we just pass this out on the stack. It's initialized to 0. So argc is just, we just know it's 0. We don't even have to do any extra work to handle it. So we will just do that. I don't know what I'm typing there. Okay, so case 0, case 1, case 2, and case 3. Oops. So we have erase below, which would be erase below the cursor. As it is right now, I don't even think we need to handle that because so the way this is being drawn, it should just get overwritten. We will have to think about that. I'm gonna just comment here for now. I think we can. So erase above. Usually that means the lines above, not the not including like the same line. So yeah, so the way we're just working with our renderer right now, like this could just be the way it's working right now, which is really inefficient, is this can just be like a clear display, to be honest. This probably isn't like defined in a place where we can just call clear display easily, though I could be wrong. No, I don't think I'm wrong. So either we make a prototype for doing that, or we... See, this is like funny, this way of thinking about it, because usually all the terminal emulators I've looked at, they maintain a separate buffer that's just full of characters, and you have to go and actually clear that. But the way we're just operating here, I'm not sure we need to bother with that. In this case, we will go we'll just put an assert here because that case should never happen. Case 3, again, ignored, note, ignored. We don't care about, we don't have a concept of save lines. We don't save lines, I don't know, in the way that Xterm is thinking about it. Probably we might want to actually just make this on some separate lines, because I can then actually be a little bit more clear about what's going on here. So this one is erase below, which is the default. This one is erase above. And this one is erase all. We don't need to do that. And this one, erase saved lines, Xterm. Okay, so let me think here. So for erase all, like I think for erase all, we can literally just all clear color. And I probably just want to add a prototype so I can do that in an arbitrary location. Because right now, if I just put, is it even called clear color? It's called clear color. If I just put a clear color here, it's not gonna work, but we can try that. Erase above, we can also just do a clear color. And erase below, to do flush buffered, actually discard buffered rights. Yeah, I'll just leave that there for now. Let's see. Try to compile this. It's going to complain about there not being any clear color. Get around that. Let me think here. What do I want to do? I don't like making a ton of headers, but at the same time, I need to share this code between these two files. So probably we'll just start putting some of those in util.h. Probably I shouldn't just make this a dumping ground for everything, but for now it's going to be a dumping ground for everything. Oh, color. I did not mean color. That is not quite true. Oh, that's actually a problem. Okay, we need to we can't do this. Because in debug mode, these are not linked in properly. So I actually don't want to do that. I'm gonna have a flag that's just gonna say discard. Yeah, I don't know if that's like the best place to do that, but let's have a GL flag that's just gonna be discard rights. It needs blit was supposed to get deleted. I just made a DOM and didn't delete it, so we'll do this. Discard discard buffer. So here, instead of calling clear color, we're gonna do p to gl dot flags or equals. In that case, we don't even need that. Discard buffer. Both of these should just work. Besides the current line. I think this is not supposed to erase the current line. We'll see if that's a problem. vtgl.c. If t to gl dot flags and discard buffer sorry, and equals not discard buffer, and we'll call clear color. Okay, so now if I do a clear screen here, get some H's. I mean, that is technically correct. Okay. Let's do this H. So this H is supposed to, well, I'll bring it over and show what H is supposed to do. So I should quit making the window change size because it loses my spot. Okay, here. Cursor position, row column, default 1, 1, except for the fact that this is assuming the terminal was 1 indexed. So it's actually default 0, 0. So that should move the cursor up here. Okay, so back to terminal.c. Handle CSI. I'm handling the cursor in here properly. This is where it's being handled, so that's good. Case H, as it might be called sometimes. probably cursor move to, so mark that and just check what cursor move to does right now. Yeah, it just clamps the space to appropriate region, so that should be okay. So cursor move to T, and it should just be CSI argv0 and CSI to argv 1. Oops, okay. Yep, I sure did. So if now we do a clear, we did not move the cursor. Oh, what happened there? What's this buggy thing that's going on? So let me close this and reopen it for one, just to clear this. Huh, so why does that happen? Your handle CSI we break. And in here, right. Should just be calculating both of these each time. I don't know why I'm not doing that. Oh, sorry. This is now flipped because the bottom left is a 0, 0, but we're talking about the top of the terminal as being up here. So it should actually be what's the terminal height? Should be this one. Yeah, should be that one. What is this position being used for? Start position. Is that really even necessary? Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so that's more like appropriate, right? There we go. That's pretty cool. So far that's just working fine. So what next? Kind of liking this idea of trying my best to not use the alternate buffer, because already it's just seeing like, it's just seeming like not doing that is actually much simpler than doing that. So not only do you use less memory, you don't have to allocate memory at runtime. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. You also don't have to do a ton of work that would otherwise be wasted. So that's pretty cool. We can just do like whatever now. I have an idea. So so we should draw a cursor. That would be useful, and we should also pass like tab to the shell. So that would be so when I do like cat vt and then I can tab complete it. Let's do that. And then we should probably start thinking about wrapping. Though that might be interesting. Key callback. I believe it's just key tab. Let me just oops. Yes, that is a downside, but the thing is like that's not an expensive operation. So we also don't have to redraw. We don't have to redraw like every time. So like right now I'm redrawing it all the time, but like really there's the window refresh callback. So we can probably just make use of this to like when we're not actually doing anything over here, we don't actually have to redraw this over and over again. So I think it's just this one. So we're gonna take here and we're gonna do glfwt tab, and we're gonna just do this exact same thing but with the tab. So if we clear this and we do cat term and we press tab, there you go. That's cool. Okay. Probably reflowing. Or what else? I guess we should just reflow. We should properly try to do the reflow. So here, properly advance cursor. Now there's like a few issues with this. So I seem to remember that for some reason, some programs basically expect that if you're on the last row and you go to the end, you don't actually scroll the terminal up. You just sit there until the next time you come through and try to push a character, which complicates this a little bit. So I don't know how I want to just handle that because it's kind of an ugly mess, to be honest. Take a look. So let me think. So probably we're gonna have like a function called yes, except for the fact that if you do that and then you go to draw the cursor will just be over top of the previous character as opposed to on the next character when it's supposed to be. So it's like they wanted it both ways for some reason. That's what you get for trying to write something that handles input from systems from 50 years ago. Yeah, exactly. It's just really it's kind of like you just have to deal with it either way. So let me think about this. Um, let's start by just writing cursor step column. We'll write like a cursor step column, which will do like the proper wrapping for us. Now the only problem is that I still have to include like a push, a scroll up. It'd be like a cache and comes with cache invalidation baggage. Um, well, like so the main problem, so there's like multiple ways you could implement it, I'm sure, but the main way it usually gets implemented is you'll have like you'll have an array of lines on the screen, because when you go to like resize the window, you want to be able to resize lines in place. So if you like extend the window, you don't want to have to like redraw the whole thing necessarily. And also, actually, sorry, that's not even the problem. The problem is that when you get to the end of the window and you have to push up everything on the screen, um, either you have to move the whole buffer up, or you have to, if you use lines, you can just like swap the bottom line with the top line and then use the top line to do stuff. I'm like thinking about it right. I can't really remember though off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, like so basically you just maintain like a separate you maintain a separate area that you maintain a separate array of pointers to lines, and each line would just contain all the cells. Okay, so sorry, what was I working on? Terminal C. Cursor. Have cursor move to cursor step column, and we'll take an integer step. And okay, so cursor step column can be like a bit annoying to just do correctly, because so the first thing we'll do is we'll just try to advance the cursor, or we will just advance the cursor by the step. Then we will say if the cursor is greater than or equal to, actually, let's do this the other way. So we'll return our lead. So if the cursor is less than the size width, so like the width, the number of columns across, we can just return. Otherwise, we have to set the column to position 0, and then advance the row per pointer. But then we also have to do if key to cursor dot row is now greater than or equal to key to well, try to keep it like this. If it's now, well, okay, we'll do the safe thing. If this is greater than the size in height, sorry, we'll flip this around. Same thing again. We can return. Otherwise, we need to we'll clamp it to the size -1, and then we technically need to scroll the whole terminal up by one line. I'm putting a to do here, but I'm probably just gonna write that right next anyways. But anyways, scroll term up by a line. Okay, so let's go and use that now. What's it called? Push line, and also in push tab. So push tab, we'll call it. We'll do cursor step column by the advanced. And that would do the wrapping for us. Oops. Get rid of some of these white spaces. And then here, cursor step column 1. Oops, I need to pass in the terminal pointer here as well. So let's see where this gets us. Okay, so it is actually wrapping correctly. So like this, like line buffer to buffer, blah, 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 has Unicode. There's like a bit of extra space here where the window's not like perfectly well sized. If I just resize the window a little bit, there's like a bit better. Probably we'll think about centering the terminal later on, and make sure that, you know, there's always going to be like a little bit of extra space, but we'll just like make sure it's like centered. So, okay, so that's good, but now we need to actually scroll the terminal up because we can't see what's going on here. Now, I was thinking about this earlier, like maybe yesterday even, and because of the way we're doing this, okay, actually, okay, yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to do a different thing first then. So what I want to do is basically we'll just have a what we can do is basically make use of the fact that OpenGL is just gonna like crop off the stuff at the edge anyways that's not on the screen. So what we can do is actually add like an offset to every cell we're drawing, so that it just goes off the screen by one. Like we can just shift the whole thing up by like one cell height before we like go and flush it. And that should just do the trick. But we can't do that just yet because actually we could. I think you can. We could actually maintain like a separate camera. That's an interesting thought. You could maintain like a separate camera in OpenGL. and just move the camera. That's almost tempting. Because that other stuff that's off screen is still just getting rendered. Now I'm a little tempted. So what would that look like? Uh, so this transformation matrix here, this viewport is correct, but this transformation matrix, no, so actually, let me think actually. So could we use GL viewport for this? I'm not sure. I think we can. I think you can just use X and Y here. What is XND? Oh, normalized device coordinates. Yeah, let's actually try this. I'll just bring this window over so I can show you what I'm looking at. So GL set viewport, set the viewport. Specify the lower left corner of the viewport rectangle in pixels. So the initial value is 0, 0, which is the bottom left corner. But if we just add something to Y here, if we just call GL viewport and set like when we're supposed to be scrolling up, we just set Y to be increased by yeah, if we just increase Y by one cell height, it might just work. And we just have to remember to like reset it at the start of the draw, at the start of the frame. So yeah, what if we try that? Let me copy this. So here, before we lit lines, let's just I don't really care that much about having this separate variable. Window size dot width t to gl dot window size dot height, and then we're gonna blit lines. Let's put a note here. Reset the viewport. Reset the camera / viewport. Okay, so let's take this and go to terminal.c. Now, I don't know if I can just shove this here directly. Maybe I can. We'll have to keep track of an offset. But let's just see if this works. So if we just get like an extra line on screen, and we can also multiply it and see how this just works. T to well, it would be cell size dot height, cell size dot h. Maybe that's gonna work. Let me see. It looks like there's some like weird artifacts going on from doing that. I did see this move up. Okay, so I think this actually only applies to right. Okay. So this only applies to things after it's just set. So we do need to be able to just offset everything. Unless there's a different way of just scrolling the window viewport. Let me think. Let me think. What's the depth range? Oh, I don't care about depth range. Polygon offset. Yeah, exactly. So basically what it means is that this stuff that was drawn before you said it doesn't get moved. Um, there should be like a way of moving it though. Maybe not because it's already like blitted to the back buff. It's like already been blitted to the frame buffer. Um, okay. In which case, yeah, okay. So you could do that. Okay. Hmm. Because the other thing I was thinking of is so I'm not doing it right now because I was waiting. I was just gonna wait until it was too slow, to where it would actually be useful to do this. But um, so if we go to, well, if we open like the compute, or if we open the shader, well, either of the shaders is fine. Um, these are just set up to do like 512 um, instance renders. Uh, Now it wouldn't be in here, but in the vertex shader, we could have another uniform here that's just vec2 um, global offset. I guess we don't even need to do that though. So if we just actually buffer this up and then set the viewport before we go and dump all the buffered things, it should. I guess it wouldn't do the whole trick. Hmm. Because you could do this and then you could just add global offset. Let me think. How do I want to do this? I mean, there is like a problem with rendering to a texture, and that is that you have to like make sure the size is big enough that you can just scroll it like that. So you don't know how much you need to scroll in one particular frame. Well, the problem though, like, so you still have to go back and figure out, if you just do that, you're gonna have to go and figure out. Yeah, so, it's an interesting one. This is an interesting one. What do I want to do? Oops. Forgot about the shader hot reloading. Um, do I want to do? Like the texture idea is like pretty good, but still worried about that. It could be like a pre-pass. So the thing is that the pre-pass might not work super well, but we do just know like the length of the lines. So we could just do a quick run through of all the lines, calculate their length, um, and you know, figure out if it needs to be wrapped, and then like add like the total number of like lines that you just need to draw it in the current window. Maybe you should try that. That seems like a decent enough. Well, the only problem though, so like I guess like tabs and stuff, you're not going to be like accounting for tabs if you do that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like not that bad to just scan through the buffer and find any tabs and then account for those as well. It could be slow. Let's try that though. So here in Blit lines, let us, so we have this line count. Technically this line count should just be up until the cursor. Like the old cursor row. If I'm not mistaken. Try to clear that. Wait, where's the cursor row getting reset? That's weird. Why is the cursor row not set here? Oops. Seeing why the cursor row wouldn't be set there. Let's have a look at this. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. Files. This one. Yeah, so that's because that's not filled yet. Let's continue. So the log lines are now 18 of them are filled. I mean, this is like gonna lag behind by 1 frame, but it should still work. You see here, let's just skip over this. Oh, what happened there? Why did we... Cursor row is back to 0. What happened? I know what happened. This is not built properly, probably. No, it should be built properly. Continue until we get there. Let's continue. Why did it exit? What? Did I press escape? Let's just run this. Okay, and then we can set a breakpoint. Was the line count? Line count was 0. Oh, because the rows are 0. Oh, if the line count's 0, then the row never advances. No, it should still advance by 1 though, because the end of the first line should be a new line. Let's go to memory. There's multiple new lines in this line. Oh no. Never mind. This thing is not gonna work so well because this is gonna be really long. Okay. Got there. I don't even know if that's visible on this stream. Okay, it kind of is. I can probably do this. Okay, so I mean, so ls is that's a space, then there's an L, an S, DD, that new line I can't remember. ASCII carriage return. It's not line feed. 0A is line feed. So yeah, I mean it's like DD and then there's an A. So there should be the cursor row should be getting increased. Not sure why that's getting reset. I wrote this state that much, but that's fine. Why is that getting reset to 0? Um, L space dollar space. There's some more escapes. Escape. Oh, and then we're out. Not sure what's happening there. Let me look at this code more in detail because that's weird. Oops. So that's the only place it's being set to 0. What is that line? Oops, terminal.c. Oh, right. That's also not, that shouldn't be getting set to 0 though either. Unless the window size is not initialized. That's one thing I didn't actually check here. I should be though, because the terminal just got resized. Oops, T2 size. Yeah, it's like set. Confused. I'm not actually sure why that's happening. Get rid of this. Look into that after. I'll just leave this as was for now. Okay, so we'll just do that. And okay, so when we scroll up, how can we do that? How many pixels do we actually need for like the Well, it could be like a lot. There's like a lot of data to just make a texture and render to it. Because, like, let me just assume, I can use BC, I guess. Let me just assume that we're on a 4K monitor, so... it's like I think most terminals like scroll usually by like lines, like rendered lines, like terminal lines. But there's like also not really any reason why we couldn't just do like smooth scrolling that I can think of. But I do think that the texture is like quite big. So 3840, assuming the whole thing was just taken up. So that's already 8 million pixels. And we need to have full color for all of those. So uh 3840 times 2160 times 32 bits per pixel. So we are already up to sorry, 260 megabytes for like one screen. So that's like not really good. So let me think about this more then. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like doesn't really matter. So just divide by 1024 and divide that by 1024. It's like 253. Uh, well, yeah, but like it's like a very minor detail when talking about like how much. Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. You're right. So it's actually like 3840 times 2160 times 4 bytes. So it's like not that bad, I guess. Like 33 megabytes per screen on the GPU, which isn't like that much. So I wonder if like 2 screens worth. Yeah, yeah. So I wonder if like two screens worth would be like enough then. Like potentially 2 screens worth would be enough to like account for all of those um for like any sort of case you could get for one time through. I mean, you could construct like you could of course construct some input that would like make that not true, but you'd have to like it's not like real terminal input at that point. Um yeah, it's actually an interesting idea. So what is the docs.gl? So yeah. So let me see. If we wanted to draw to a texture, I cannot remember. Is it like a render buffer? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, so it'd be like a render buffer. Oh. Oh, there's like a frame buffer as well. What's the difference between the frame buffer and the render buffer then? It's like in the example for like GL gen render buffers, they say build the texture that will serve as the color attachment for the frame buffer. You could also just build the frame buffer. I see. So like really you just need the frame buffer then, and then you can just draw to the frame buffer. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think like the OpenGL tutorial website has like render to texture, and they're just saying their example is just using the frame buffer. Yeah, okay. So why don't I try that? That actually sounds like an interesting idea. I don't know if I'll be able to finish that tonight, but we can start anyways. So where did I just set up all that junk? So it's in this main. Let's see. Init window. Here we generate some buffers for the actual rendering. So here we could just generate generate a frame buffer and a texture. Frame buffer. Well, so like you can do that differently though. So instead you can just so like okay, let me just leave that comment for a second. Um Push lines. Sorry. Uh Sorry, not push line, blit lines. So here, this line count, um or it's here. So we're gonna try to blit enough lines to just fill the whole screen. But this is like separate from like the scroll back. So if you want to just have scroll back, which we will have eventually, what you just do is go here and you do like it depends on which direction you want this scroll back to be defined in. But let's say scroll back's a negative number, so you can just do scroll offset, or you can even just add. You can even just add it to here plus scroll offset. So that will just go into the back into this lines buffer, and just grab the line you actually wanted, considering the scroll back. The 2 screens worth of texture storage is so that if the terminal uses one of the like if it's if after like wrapping text it pushes up like the rest of this stuff far enough like back. Like I'm just gonna guess that let's assume that it's possible you know theoretically that could be like double the frame buffer, or sorry, double like the terminal size. I don't know like if that's true or not until I just try it, but I have a feeling that like it should just work. Generate frame buffer. Yeah, so I guess that's like yeah, that's basically what I'm assuming. I guess that's a better way of putting it. But I mean, they could be longer than that. Actually, I have to think about that now because I also because I'm like I've developed this. I know that the way this just outputs, so like this text editor, which obviously I want to be able to run in here. Um, this just outputs this whole screen as like a single line. So it's like 6,000 characters long usually or more. Because of like all the escape codes and stuff. That could be an issue. Oh no, but the difference with this though is that it only outputs enough characters to just like fill one screen worth. So actually that's not an issue. It's just an issue with the other outputs, like when we're doing like cat or whatever. Yep. This is this 0.9 dirty. So it's really just the master branch. Um, okay, so yeah, we don't have a scroll offset yet. Um, Intermediate frame buffer for rendering to and using, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now until I have a better explanation. Then we're gonna have to copy some code here from this tutorial. I have to store this in the GL context. So uint. FB, let's just call it an FB for now. So this will be GL, this will be and T to GL dot FB. Gen frame buffers 1, bind frame buffers T to GL dot FB. Then we need to create a texture which will contain the RGB output of the shader. So that's just a standard texture. So let's make another thing here called FB text. GL gen textures 1 and T to GL dot FB text. If we don't have any oh wait, so we're gonna need both of these bound at the same time. So I need to I'll just call it FB text unit. Yeah, let's do that. T to GL dot FB text unit. Oops, texter unit equals 1. Texture 0 plus this. Come on. Oops. No, that's right. And then we'll gen a texture and we will bind the texture to that unit. GL texture 2D. So then we'll fill this with the right format, but just as empty. So we'll do a text image 2D. GL texture 2D. Let me just remember. Text image 2D. Where is the right one? Okay, so the level is 0. Internal format will be GL RGBA, I think. Let me see here. Already forgetting my internal formats. Yeah, no, it's GL RGBA. GL RGBA, and then next parameter is the width, height, so this should technically get resized on window resize. That's okay. I don't think it really matters if it has to get resized. We don't Oh wait, sorry, we should have that. It's here. We do have the window size already. So yeah, dot window size dot h. No, sorry, dot w first, and then dot h. And then border 0 format GL RGBA again. So it's like kind of getting to be a very long line. Let's break it here. And then a type. This doesn't even matter because we're not uploading data to it, but I think it's just like GL unsigned byte would work fine for this purpose, and then 0. Except we want to make this height like twice the height. Something like that maybe would work. And we do want the filtering to be nearest as well. Okay, so we're not doing we don't need a depth buffer. We have to use GL Framebuffer. GL Framebuffer attach, what's it called? GL Framebuffer texture. Attach a level of a texture buffer as a logical buffer for the frame buffer object. Okay, so we'll do that. GL frame buffer texture. GL frame buffer. Oops. GL frame buffer. GL color attachment 0. Wait, what's the what's this attachment? It specifies the attachment point of the buffer. I think it can be 0. I don't see why not. Besides the fact that they're using yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly, they're using the American spelling, so that's fine. Oh, why is there... Oh, I probably want to use... Wait, why is there like a different... Why is there two different... Or sorry, why is there a... Let me see here. GL frame buffer 1D. I'm not sure why these take exactly the same parameters. There's like GL frame buffer texture, there's also GL frame buffer texture 1D, 2D, 3D. Okay, so anyways, we do have the texture. The texture is this one. And then the level is the mip map level, which is 0. not using any bitmaps. Okay, yeah, like because it's just like really weird because they take exactly the same. Oh, there's like a text target parameter, I guess. Um, okay, it does seem like it would be useful for like the cube map textures, but for the other textures, like a 2D texture, just a normal flat 2D texture, I don't think it's makes any sense necessarily. Okay. So then we have to do GL draw buffers. When are we supposed to be calling that? GL draw buffer. So that would be like before we just probably like store that as well. Technically like GL enum, but anyways. Let me just store this so I don't have to keep referring to it randomly throughout the code. Like draw buffers is feel like draw buffers should be called before you start drawing to this frame buffer, not just like randomly at some other time. Hmm. It's like to render to it's like really easy, but this draw buffers I'm not sure about. I'm looking at the wrong documentation first of all. Specify the list of color buffers to draw into. Okay, so render to the whole frame buffer. So that makes sense. Make sure I didn't make any weird typos. I did. Yeah, not that. So then there's some copy paste errors. And then also probably I need to I should probably do this. Should probably resize this if I need to resize it. So let's copy that. Frame buffer callback. So here, yeah, like that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like I'm just looking at they just are specifying it in the tutorial, but I think that it would like only matter if you're trying to use more than one. Oops. I've copied other text. Okay, well, I don't need the gen textures part, but I'll just delete that. So here, get rid of that. Technically, I don't really need to do this so explicitly, but that's okay. Oh, actually, this is a problem. Right, right. This is a problem because you can't. Actually, I think you can do this with text image 2D, right? So if you use text storage, it makes the state immutable. But I think if you use text image, it is fine. Definitely not seeing immutable on this page. Yeah, yeah. So it's just like text storage that makes the dimensions immutable. Okay, so that's fine. So this will just do the trick. If you want to resize it later on, even though, yeah, well, this isn't really needed, but that's fine. It might be needed after if I go and start resizing the font textures, which is probably what's going to happen at some point. So do that, and then what we want to do is, oops, you can reopen that now because the compilation is good. Okay, so now we have to actually load that in render doc. I think that just means that we are actually drawing to that texture instead of drawing to the this one. Yeah. If we just do this, and oops, I need to attach this to the program. It's broken here for some reason. So yeah, there's like a secret texture. Oh, you mean before like we're Oh, you mean when we're resizing like the font size? Yeah, we're not doing that yet. GPU glyph. So that's already loaded. Update font textures. Oh, it looks like I've got a geoactive texture. Yeah. Am I not doing that somewhere? Looks like we're good. I just need to actually just draw this to the screen now. So actually the difference here now is just we already have just a full we just have like a rectangle in the vertex whatever object. So I just need to have a well, push care was like dumb, but so here it would be let me look at the shader. Oh yeah, so there's text slot that never gets changed. So here in push care, we should be setting text slot to 0, because 0 is the one with the font textures. What's the thing called? It should be like text slot ID, right? Yeah, we do have it, we're just not setting it. Oops. So it'd be GL to text slot. And we're gonna set that to actually pass it in here. Yeah, let's just pass that in here. Okay, and then let me think about where to just set that for these other ones. So let's say are we even using like push care? We are using push care for draw text. Draw rectangle, draw text. I think like the rest of this stuff just completely doesn't matter for the or no, I think it's like the same thing. It'll just be like this draw rectangle. The draw rectangle needs to take a text slot. Text slot. Push care here is for drawing text, so this should be slot 0. Maybe I should store that somewhere. Draw a rectangle. So here after we have blitted everything to that wait, sorry, I need to just check the main here. So we yeah, so sorry, we're leaving the frame buffer bound, which is why we're just drawing straight to the frame buffer. What we should be doing here is actually doing this. Find the frame buffer, set the viewport. Then, after we're done that, at the end of this loop, we are going to bind frame buffer 0, unbind the frame buffer. I don't think we need to do this. Let me just comment that out for now. And then we're going to do a draw rectangle. So the text slot will be 1. Okay, well, I saved it. I better just use it. P to GL U, I call it. FB texture unit, I think. Yeah. FB text unit. Pull that down. And T to GL. We need the full screen rectangle. Wait, is this rect? Okay, that's a slightly annoying. Fine. It'll be equal to dot position will be equal to 0. Dot size will be equal to Color will just be but this fragment shader is not going to work right now. Oops. So the color is going to get blended. Right now, I think this is only going to take the red channel. Let's just try it. Oops, RGBA. And I forgot to put a thing there. No, because the window size, unless I'm storing the window size as a float, I don't think I am. Maybe I should be, to be honest. Yeah, right now I'm storing it as integer. I don't even know if it's like necessary to store it as integer, to be honest. I feel like everywhere I'm using it, it would be preferable if it was just a float. This is like slightly extra work, but oops. Maybe I don't need to have so many things open. And window size height and window size dot height. This is supposed to be width. It's first one. And then do this. Okay. I need to close this. What is going on here? Okay, sorry, so that's building fine now. So yeah, now I can just do that. And there's a few other places where I probably wanted to be doing that, but we'll see. Nope, not that. Oh, sorry, because I think draw rectangle doesn't do what I want it to do. Text scale should be I don't think draw rectangle does what I want it to do, to be honest. I should probably just stop using this whole thing and just do the call directly. This is not correct either, but it'll be black, and then okay, let me think here. Yeah, that's the correct texture slot. Why am I casting this? Okay, and then are rect even being used right now? No. Let me just take this whole thing. R dot size, R dot position. I think this should be Y. Oh yeah, we want X. We want the foreground color. I'm just gonna do the mix with that. And then text slot is this one. That's too much stuff on one line. Oops, that was dumb. Just try this. If I'm just doing that one, I just do 0x. FF, F. Oops. Just got closed. Okay. That's the clear color. I should have reloaded it if it was drawing the thing properly. Let me see here. Let's go back to render doc. Okay, so this is should all be just drawn into the frame buffer. I'm not sure why that's not. Oh, because I didn't bind the correct. Actually, I don't know why that's doing that. Let me just see though. I want to figure out why this. Um, Where is the uniforms for this one is what I want to see. Oh yeah, here. No resource, that's like a problem, isn't it? What's this later here? Texture 128 or texture 28, which is set by here, which is 0. Why did this not get? Shouldn't have to bind that again. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not getting set properly. Is the size just... Is this uniform? Text scale. Oh, Framebuffer here. View the contents of texture. You might have to unbind it from the Framebuffer object before sampling from it in the shader. The other thing I'm noticing is I need to like properly clear it, but yeah, I'll just clear it before I start drawing to it. Actually, I should just do that. Yeah, here, so when I bind it, I need to actually clear color it. So like this, using the rendered texture. We don't need to do this because we already have all this stuff. Like I already know there's a problem where the so like had the code uploaded for this one. Maybe they do have it available. Okay. Have a look here. So render to the frame buffer, clear the screen, use the program. Those are all just still bound. Active texture, bind the texture, blah, blah, blah. There's drawing. Then they unbind the frame buffer, pull GL clear. I mean, they have a different program, but like this should still work. I mean, I could do this as well. Instead of using like a separate. Oh, really? Okay. Have a look at the texture barrier. GL texture barrier controls the ordering of read and writes the rendered fragments across drawing commands. So, okay. To safely read the result of a written textile via a textile fetch and a subsequent drawing call texture barrier between the two drawing commands. Not sure if that's like the problem, but it could be. Yeah, exactly. I'll do this again, even though I think it's unnecessary. It's cleared color now, at least. I guess maybe render doc would be a bit more helpful there. I don't really need that open. Capture a frame. Textures. Which textures? Oh, so this is the font textures on the other one. Okay, so this one has what it's supposed to have besides, I don't know why that's like that. So let me just think about what I'm doing here again, because this could very well be, I could be doing something silly. Push care. Set the texture slot, set the colors, set the character index. The character index is 0. I'm just doing that. I probably shouldn't use this one, but anyways, the text scale. So let's open the fragment shader again. See how we're just using this. So we read the text color in, we unpack it to foreground and background. We grab the text coordinate from the vertex shader. We go to the character map. instance ID is just going to be 0 because, or sorry, the result of this thing is just going to be 0, which is should be correct. Multiply the x and y by the scale, which means that that does need to be 1. And possibly negative. It should already be flipped actually, because of the vertex shader. Okay, and then we go here. I don't know why I have this here. I should maybe delete this, but anyways, the scale right now is not 0, so we're gonna go to the text. So that would actually indicate what was going on there. Probably I don't even need that barrier. Let's try just let's try this. Resizing the texture. This shouldn't matter because that is where it was just put to. And then they were gonna push a UV to the color. Zero color. Push. Okay. Okay, so color. Gonna comment that part out. Let's actually just do this. And see if I can fiddle with this a little bit and get it to work properly. Oops. Oops. For sample, if sample dot whatever is not 0, alpha should be 0. Okay, try using the alpha. Color just equals sample, else sample dot r. My stupid typo here. I think sample I can probably, maybe I should just write a separate fragment shader for doing this. I don't need that, to be honest. If we go back into render doc and just see what's going on now. Well, I definitely broke something there, but that is still being rendered properly. So it's just this last one where I am doing something wrong. This color pass 1. Color pass 1 is finished. Then we try to draw this. Set the viewport. Why does it kind of look like those are like... What's going on there? I think I'm gonna have to look at this tomorrow because I'm a bit tired. And I kind of need to stop streaming now. But I think it's a good idea, and I think we're almost there. I just need to figure out what is going on here is causing this to not show up in the shader. So thanks everyone for watching. Let me see if I can just stash a couple things so we can get something going again. That one. It's this main.c. I think mostly main.c. Main.c and do it this way. Actually, git stash push. I should have split this up so I can actually do this a little differently. Let's take the win on the first half of this. Yeah, let's take we can take like half of this stuff. So git add dash e util.h. We want that, we want this, don't care about this stuff yet. I don't care about a white space there. And then this one, main.c, we'll take half of this. We won't take this Framebuffer stuff just yet. And then we'll do terminal.c. So this stuff is all good. I think this whole thing is fine for now. And then here, btgl.c, we just have to edit a few things. Don't care about that line. Do care about that line. Here, oops, don't need this honk. Don't need this honk. That looks fine. This is fine. This is fine. Get rid of that. Oops. Okay, I can get rid of this part. Need to keep that part. And get rid of all of this part for now. Okay, so let us take that. So commit-v. Add basic cursor wrapping. And screen clearing. Then I can do a stash and a build. We do that, we should be able to see some stuff. Well, this is a bad example, but anyways, there we go. So that will be all for me tonight. Hopefully I'll come back either, I don't know if I can come back tomorrow, maybe on Thursday, and we will try to get that Framebuffer texture working. I'll probably look into a little bit as well offline. I think that's like going to be an interesting way of just avoiding like the cost of maintaining like a secret or like a second. It's not like a second, but like maintaining a whole retained like frame buffer. We can just use a texture and make it like scroll just parts of the texture as needed. So that could be a cool way of just handling it. Now, see what's going on here. I am going to. I'm the only one streaming C apparently. Here's someone who's doing some Fallout 2 modding in C and C++. Read up a bit more on the texture barrier, and it seems to only be relevant when the shader does texture store. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. So I think it's just the, it might just be like something like needing to bind it separately after you've unbound the frame buffer. But anyways, we'll go and check out, let me just see here. This person is here. Well, I'm getting hit with the edge, but in any case, we'll probably send you over here. Let us do a raid. They're developing on Linux as well, it looks like. So what's this channel called here? Quantum Apprentice. All right, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time.